Hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today we're going to talk a little bit about what happens when you lose your mojo. You know, I was sitting here earlier this week. This is my spot. So what I do every morning, I come out here, fix me a cup of coffee, sip my coffee right there, and I enjoy my morning. Now, I like my quiet time. But one of the things that has been happening is somebody stole my mojo, man. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about what happens when you lose your mojo. How can you get it back? Can you get it back? Austin Power says you can. And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna suit up, we're gonna hop on Casper, go for a ride, and we're gonna figure out together what we gotta do to get our mojo back. Right after this. You can tell from the music that this is not going to be one of those downer videos. But if you want to help my mojo, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell, and I sure would appreciate it. Now, before we get going, I do want to say this. A lot of this is kind of tongue-in-cheek in a time where we could lighten up just a little bit. I am not a professional health care provider, and I am not a certified mental health technician. So, if you think you're going to get some sort of real deep intrinsic thing that change your life, well, you might. But I guess that depends on what you want and what you expect. But I am not a professional. If you're really, really depressed, and in these times, I don't want to underplay that. You know, right now, they say that, child abuse, spousal abuse, suicide, all those things have gone up since this whole pandemic thing started. So this week, I was talking with a buddy of mine, and I was really feeling down. And I told him, I don't know why. And we sat there and we came to the conclusion that the reason we were down is we were babies. Not really. But we're going to talk a little bit about what you got to do when you find yourself down. You don't really have to have a reason to be down. It's just something in your head that says, I'm down. And that's where I was. I know I have everything. I know I have a beautiful, charmed life, a beautiful wife, a CanAm Spyder, lovely weather. I'm retired. It really can't get much better than that. So why was I down? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I allowed myself to talk me into it. And that's just not a good thing to do. So we're going to give you a few ways on how to get your mojo back and get yourself out of that funk that you might be in. So grab your cup of coffee and let's figure this thing out together. And the first thing you got to do, number one, is stop whining. Now, I know that sounds awfully obvious, but, sometimes we fall into this habit of negative talk. Some folks will call it karma. Some will call it reaping what you sow. I just call it whining. And in the words of the legendary Coach Bob RT, lighten up, Buttercup. You just sometimes got to lighten up and quit all the negative self-talk. You can talk yourself into being miserable. So the next time you find yourself talking bad about everything and anything and everybody, just back up for a second, take a deep breath, and live by the old mantra that Mom told you. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Living by that rule is a lot of fun, but it does require self-control. Go out and do something fun. That's number 2. Go out and have some fun. Now, there again, sounds awfully obvious, but what do we do when we start feeling down? Well, I know what I do. I lock myself away in my office. I sit there in front of the television. I grab a bag of chips, a Coca-Cola, and I just sit there and wallow around in it. And sometimes it's not until Coach Vic comes in here and goes, hey, Coach Bob, go do something. Get out there and have some fun. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can be exercise, a walk, go out to a lake somewhere, go fishing for crying out loud, hop on your CanAm Spyder, go for a ride. If you don't have a Spyder, drive down to a motorcycle shop and look at them. If your desire is to eventually own one, if you own a motorcycle of any kind, get on it, go for a ride. Doing things that are daring and fun, that stimulate the brain, that get the endorphins flowing. You need to do those things. So number 2, just get out and do something. you'll find that when you quit the negative self-talk and get out and do something, you're going to almost immediately feel better. While 1 and 2 seem absolutely painfully obvious to you, number 3 may not be quite so obvious and can sometimes be a little deceiving. Often we surround ourselves with people that have the same energy that we do. People that are into the things that we're into, whether it's into motorcycles or horseback riding or fishing or hunting or shooting, anything that you're into, we find ourselves being around those people. Now I'm going to add something. Make sure you're hanging on. If you're a negative person, chances are you surround yourself with negative people. And if you found yourself in this negative cycle for quite a while, it might be time to surround yourself with some more positive people. And when the people that you are around start speaking in a negative fashion, just excuse yourself, leave that particular scenario, and find the right group. So you need to connect with people who have a good mojo to them, that create hope, that are optimists, not pessimists, that look at life and the glass is not only half full, it's full. You know, I've got a good friend of mine that I talk to on the phone virtually every single morning. His name is Dallas. And Dallas and I, we have a lot in common. We're roughly the same age. We're at that retirement world, and our life is good, but can sometimes be somewhat complex due to taking care of elderly parents and any other thing that might be thrown in our path. And the one thing that we do is we hold each other accountable. And when we find each other whining, we will listen. Now, I'm not saying don't listen to your friends. That's not what I'm saying. But if it starts turning into just a cry fest, we always kind of laugh and go, hey man, but isn't life good? And we both nod and say, yes it is. Because it really is. There are people out there with real problems. And you may be one of those folks. So surround yourself with positive people who can lift you up. There are two kinds of people in this world, those who add and those who subtract. Be around those who add to your life and make sure that you are adding to others. So number 3, hang out with folks that got good mojo. All right, now number 4. Number 4 is one of those things where if you just can't seem to shake it and you don't know why, this is something that I learned a long time ago. After my first wife died of breast cancer, I found myself really struggling to be positive, struggling to find my way. And I didn't know, I just couldn't shake it. And I bought a little book by a guy named Ari Kiev. And the name of the book is Strategy for Daily Living. Now, this little book, it's not magical. There's nothing fancy in it, but it is pretty interesting stuff. And it was something that he said in there that rang in my big noggin and helped me along my way. And one of the things he said, if you find yourself in a rut, change something. Make a change. Now, of course, we immediately jump to this massive change world, right? Oh, man, I've got to start a new job. I've got to start new relationships. Man, he was like, buy a weird pair of socks. Wear a tie that you would never wear. Leave 10 minutes earlier for work and take a different route because you will see the world differently because what you're looking at is different. And those little changes, and I did. I went out and I bought some socks and ties, and I started leaving a little earlier for work. And those little things somehow gave me perspective. You know, and every time I hear the song by Sheryl Crow, I think a change will do you good. I think about that little book by Ari Kiev. And when I say a little book, it's a little bitty book. And when I got it, I was very disappointed when I pulled it out of the package. I'm like, man, this thing is ridiculously small. But it packs a lot of great insight. And so if you find yourself in these negative cycles, change what you're doing. Do something different. One of the things my father said is you define insanity as doing the same thing, expecting different results. It always works. Same behavior, same results. Different behavior, different results. So number 4, make a change. It'll do you good. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today and listening to what I got to say, and let you know that while you're watching this video, it is a Saturday, Coach Vic and I are hopefully over in Daytona Biketoberfest, and hope to get some good footage, maybe meet some new friends over there, and maybe meet you over there. If you would like to catch up with us, you can email me at bob3coach@gmail.com. I do have my phone on me the whole time I'm over there, and we'll be checking for updates on that, so that if you want to meet up somewhere, maybe we could do that. Additionally, you can follow us on Instagram at CoachBob3 on my Instagram, and I am going to be updating with pictures, and you'll kind of know where we are throughout the day, just in case you want to catch up with us. And with that said, also, if you would, give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. We do appreciate the growth. And we've noticed that the videos have been being shared on some groups on Facebook, which is really cool. We've had on the CanAm Spyder owners group, we've seen the videos shared a few times, and that's really cool to see. So thank you for doing that. We greatly appreciate it. So number 5, in the words of Olivia Newton-John. Yeah, I know you're saying, man, you're really digging into the real philosophers. Let's get physical, baby. Let's just get physical. We need to do something. We got to get out, and we have to do something with our bodies. It really is important. You know, I used to think that I could just get up and have a quiet time, but it's so often that if I don't get that angst out through physical activity, that I really have a hard time focusing. And I also have a hard time calming down. So I do a lot better if I'll get up in the morning and have that cup of coffee, go for a little walk, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, do whatever it is you can do. If all you can do, like Coach Vic, for example, she's in a wheelchair. If all she can do is push around the block, she'll push around the block. She'll do a modified push-up in the bed if it's raining outside. There's all kinds of things that you can do. There is no excuse to not absolutely give your best to get that angst out of your body by just doing something physical, something that you can do. So number 5, let's get physical. Number 6 is one that Coach Vic was not fond of when we met. And I think a lot of you already know what it's going to be. And I'm going to start it out by saying this. Lose an hour in the morning and you'll be looking for it all day. So there it is. Get up. If you're tired, get up. If you don't want to get up, get up. If you're not a morning person, get up. You need to get up in the morning. We were created as children of the day. Get out of bed in the morning and seize the day. When I say at the end of the videos, now go seize the day, I mean it. Get up in the morning and take that day. It is yours. God gave it to you. Take it and enjoy it. So, number 6, get up early and seize the day, baby. Bringing us to lucky number 7. Get in the bed at night. You know, in order to get up early, you need to get in the bed at night. Now, I know that we have these darn televisions and iPads and iPhones and great YouTube channels to follow. And it's very, very easy to stay up late and find ourselves staring at these little screens until all times of the night. And I will admit that I am guilty of it. If I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep, I will grab the phone or the iPad and I will respond to notifications on the YouTube channel. You've probably seen me respond to something that you may have posted at 3 in the morning. And you go, man, does this guy ever sleep? And the answer is, yes, I do sleep. But when I do wake up and if I'm having a hard time getting back to sleep, I will sometimes do that. That said, if you are in the daytime and you turn the lights off in a room and you turn on a dimly lit lamp and go to read a book, if you are falling asleep in 5 minutes, you're too tired. That means you're not getting enough rest. You need to go to bed at night. And it's a very, very difficult thing to do in a world where everything is pulling you in a different direction, whether it's children or job responsibilities or an illness of a family member or a spouse or something that you're just running and you're running yourself ragged. Understand that your rest is important. My son, when my father was ill, I found myself getting very sensitive. I was extremely exhausted and I was burning the candle at both ends. And my son told me, he goes, Dad, there are two types of behaviors that you can have in a situation like this. And he learned this while working on submarines. There is a sustainable performance and an unsustainable performance. And he said, you know, when you're putting out fires and things have to be done right now, you can perform in an unsustainable way to get the immediate emergency jobs done. But that performance for the long term is, in fact, unsustainable. And what you're doing right now, Dad, is just that. You have to move into the world of sustainable results. The emergency is over. Yes, his health is failing him, but the original scare is over. And there will be more emergencies. And if you don't rest, you will not be effective. In fact, you will do more harm than good because you'll be so tired and sensitive, you'll snap everyone's head off and offend everyone, and you'll be good for nothing. You'll tear the family apart, Dad. What you're doing is unsustainable. Go home, get some rest, and you'll better serve your father. And he was absolutely right. And how in the world I raised a kid that had that kind of insight, who is now a fine man, I'll never know. But I sure am grateful, and I will never forget the time my son taught me the lesson of sustainable results. Go to bed, get your rest. And number 8, the very last one, don't forget to laugh. You know, in the book of Proverbs it says that a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. There are so many quotes about laughter and about what laughter can do for us. Here's a couple of them. If you can laugh in the face of adversity, you're bulletproof. Always laugh when you can. It's cheap medicine. Trouble knocked at the door, but hearing laughter, it hurried away. There's a Benjamin Franklin quote for you, huh? As soap is to the body, so laughter is to the soul. A good laugh is a mighty thing. To truly laugh, you must be able to take your pain and play with it. And the last one, the art of medicine consists of amusing the patient while nature cures the disease. You gotta laugh, people. And I know that in times like right now in society, with all of the things that we're seeing, laughter can be quite difficult. But don't forget to laugh, because life is good. So I'm going to end it there, and I'm just going to enjoy my ride. But until next time, go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day. We'll talk to you next time.